Thank you very much indeed, Andreas. It's a very great pleasure to be with you here this evening. And thank you for that kind introduction, Andreas, about possibilities of my being the next Prime Minister. Actually, the last time I was in this hall was, in fact, for the Clause 4 Labour Party conference, and it was chiefly memorable for my introduction by the chairman of the conference, who introduced me as Britain's next Prime Minister and turned to the audience confidentially and said, "You know, I've said that about all the last Labour leaders." So anyway, we're hoping for rather better this time. Can I also thank Simon enormously for that discreet piece of lobbying? So understated, I thought. In fact, it was such a passionate speech in favour of elected mayors. I wasn't quite sure whether it was an introduction to me or a job application. But anyway, he may make a very good one, who knows? I actually believe that I can pay Simon no greater compliment than to say he is one of the very few journalists that when you read their articles, they are not predictable. And that is a bad thing for politicians, but I feel it's rather a good thing for journalism. So I also would like to thank Richard Rogers and the Architecture Foundation for their invitation to speak here tonight, and to congratulate the Evening Standard and the Corporation of London, which I think has expended great efforts on the capital's behalf for sponsoring this series of debates, because they've been truly remarkable events. And if politicians were ever tempted to think that the future of London was not high on the political agenda, then these meetings and these debates have surely proved them wrong. It is important, Londoners do care, and they feel passionately about the future of their city. And what I would like to do to you, with you actually, that's the problem with politicians, you know. Actually, it should not be taken in any sense as an indication of what's about to befall you under a Labour government. Now, I believe that we start from a very simple proposition, that London is the economic heart of the country, it drives the national economy, we have enormous advantages in media, communications, and the arts. In the English language, we've got a huge competitive advantage. And in arts and culture, London is a world centre. Indeed, if you ask young people the best thing about Britain, they'll probably say the pop music industry, the best in the world, where British musicians and composers now earn more in foreign exchange than the steel industry. In 2 months' time, we are going to host the European Football Championships, the biggest sporting event to take place in Britain since the 1966 World Cup. And this is a city, I mean, there are often subjects as politicians that you get asked to talk about that you have to work up enthusiasm for. But talking about London is a subject I do have enthusiasm for, because it's a city in which I've spent my working life. I mean, I speak personally when I'm speaking here as well as a politician. In other words, in brackets, I mean it, I believe it. Now, I've lived north and south of the river, which shows that I really am a politician, on the east and west sides of the cities, and flats, bedsits and houses. My images of London are, in a sense, the images of my life, my own life and my quality of life. You know, hopping on the bus in the morning when I first started work and wondering if the journey would take 20 minutes or an hour and a quarter, whether I would get to court in time, walking through Hackney late at night with just the faintest touch of unease, nervously keeping an eye on my kids playing in the park, the cinemas, the theatres, the galleries, the 100 different types of eating place. All the things about a big city, living in the same street as people but never sure of knowing them, the chances to do well and succeed that only come to you in a big city, all the opportunities and worries of London. I mean, I know London, and I have affection for it. And I think we can see there's a sense in London of what could be done, which is what makes the present position frustrating. I'm delighted that the Mayor of Barcelona is here tonight. I think his work has shown what can be achieved in reinventing the identity of a city through rebuilding and regenerating the public sphere. 150 new parks, squares and public spaces which have helped make Barcelona a place where people want to live and to work. And in London, we can, in part at least, learn from this experience. For Barcelona, the 1992 Olympics was obviously the catalyst. I think the millennium should be ours. I mean, the millennium should be the signal for a programme of renewal which transforms the face of the city and gives us the type of capital city that we want for the 21st century. For I do not believe London is as good as it should be. And I believe that is because there is no coherent, articulated vision for London capable of being carried through. There is no sense of London on the move, of a capital city bursting with ideas ready to go into action. It has strengths, it has importance, it has history, but it lacks and yet urgently requires a galvanizing, powerful vision of its future. And I believe that London needs to think through and to plan that future. It won't happen piecemeal. It will not arise through some mystery of the marketplace, and it won't actually happen through central government. It requires linking together each part of the vision of a renewed capital city. The regeneration of the blighted areas of the city, the inner city particularly, education, industry, transport, the arts, culture, and communications. And each part should reflect and carry forward the vision of the whole of a London that is innovative, creative, prosperous, with a high-grade infrastructure and quality of life. A London that my children, as they grow up, want to live in as well as work in, whose streets and parks are safe, whose art and culture is the best in the world. A London that can take risks, is actually confident that it is going places. And for that vision, there does need to be a voice. And I shall talk about the democracy of London in a moment, but I would like just to talk very briefly about some clear principles that should inform the action, how we implement any such vision. First, this is not about government centrally trying to control and order. The role of government today should be to enable, to organize, to place together the wishes of the people and their means of achievement, but it does not need to happen through central government. Secondly, the finance can be public and private. There are no boundaries of ideology here. Of course we want good property development, as well as good action on poverty and unemployment. It is the best combination for the best practical result that actually matters. Thirdly, government in the end only retains validity as a means of acting for the people. But there are different ways today that local communities can act. Tenants' associations that actually take charge of local housing, cooperatives that will run leisure facilities, the voluntary sector that can put together training and work programs for the young homeless, often far better than central government itself. Government can facilitate, but a range of bodies will implement. Fourthly, London is a place, as someone said a moment ago, where tourism is vitally important. And again, we need a proper set of proposals and plan as to how we can look after and treat the tourists properly. Fifthly, we should seek to improve not just the quality of life of the individual, but the public domain itself, the community where people share activities and do things together. And in this, design is central. And we should be prepared to be bold and imaginative. We should preserve our great monuments of history, of course, but we should be seeking continually to add tributes to the creativity of our own time also. People should, in 100 years' time, be able to look back at the architectural achievements of the late 20th and early 21st century, just as they look back now on the architectural achievements of the 17th and 18th and 19th centuries. As Norman Foster has said, should the Horse Guards Parade really be a car park, or isn't there some better use that we could make of this potentially wonderful space? Look at the river and its potential. And again, we've been developing it, but developing it often in a haphazard way. I mean, it is only in a world hidebound by dogma that we would have created the Docklands development but not planned its infrastructure properly first. And in 4 years' time, we have the opportunity to stage the Millennium Exhibition at Greenwich. The organisations which work together to win the right to stage the project I think deserve great credit. It could give London's economy a massive boost, attract new visitors from all over the world. And the exhibition should not just be an event for Greenwich or even for London, but for the whole country. It can be our showcase to the world. But the project will only happen if public and private sectors work together with energy and determination to make it a success. So what then do we see as the challenges for London? Transport, congestion, pollution, crime, dereliction, school standards, the unemployment, racism, homelessness, the exclusion of some of our citizens. Our obligation is to all our citizens, the inner city poor as much as the more affluent, as much, if you like, as the middle class, people like John Prescott and others. No, but we have got to create a vision for London which does heal some of the deep social divisions within our capital city. I think many people are appalled that 60% of young black men are out of work. A city where people are living in fear of crime on bleak, threatening estates. We should be trying to create a city, surely, in any decent and civilized society, where we do not notice people sleeping in shop doorways and do not see young people sleeping under bridges. We cannot hope to build a one-nation society or a city where people want to live and work with these levels of social division. And again, there are programs. We have put forward some of them ourselves. Indeed, even this government in the late 1980s put forward skills and education programs that are better than the ones we have today. Public-private partnerships to renovate derelict areas and redesign council estates. There are a whole series of measures that, with energy and determination and some ideas, could at least begin to make a difference to those appalling social problems. Education is critical. Some of London's schools face particular problems of social and economic deprivation. Again, particularly, those schools that are failing are a target for our work, for our emphasis, to try and ensure that the educational opportunities that people have are there, so that they're not wanting to move out to different areas in order to get the education they require. Perhaps, above all, we need a proper, integrated transport plan for London itself. Getting from A to B in London can be a complete nightmare, as all of you will know. Our underground system used to be the envy of the world. Now we have the Misery Line and a creaking system which 10 days ago broke down completely, leaving thousands of people stranded. The essence of good transport, however, is that it functions in harmony as a system. At present, buses fight cars, fight bikes, fight pedestrians. There is no system. Traffic moves as slowly through our capital as it did in Queen Victoria's day. We all know one of the reasons why the river bus failed was because it wasn't properly linked to any other part of London's transport, either public or private. And look at the way that chaotic decisions are taken regarding projects that are vital for the future of the city. I mean, what other capital city that really wanted to get ahead in the world would still have not built a proper link from its main airport at Heathrow into the centre of the city?